All right, welcome to this live stream. This is going to be a Q&A on everything you need to know moving to Paraguay, South America, currently there right now, just outside of Asunción, the capital of Paraguay. And I'm going to be answering a bunch of questions. If you've got questions, go ahead and leave them in the chat for me. If not, I've got a list of things to go over to give people a real solid rundown. We'll probably run this, I don't know, 2 hours maximum. It's 2 p.m. currently in Paraguay, and I got a lot to get through. So a lot of people recently have seen my YouTube video. I think it was something about escaping Canada and how I earn money in Paraguay. And yeah, if you've got a question for me, just start posting them in the chat. I'll get to it for sure. And I see that there's a lot of Canadians, especially looking to move. And so I'm going to be mostly giving the Canadian perspective, as I am born in Canada and been living there most of my life. But there is information here for everyone. There is, this can work for people in Europe. This can work people in the United States. There may be some differentiations for taxation, and I'll try and cover that. But let's kind of get into it. This is my first time streaming in probably a year. You know, moving to a new country eats up a lot of mental capacity, you know, family issues, family time, which I'll probably talk about at some point today. And so I haven't been able to make as much content as I want, but I really enjoyed making that recent video for you guys on leaving Canada. It was a very good documentation. There was a lot of B-roll and shots and videos, photos from my life. And I'm really proud of that video. I'm glad that 70,000 people have watched that video. But let's go on over to my Miro board that I've got for you guys so I can kind of break some of this stuff down. Keep it pretty simple, but also comprehensive. This should be the only video you need to understand if moving to Paraguay is correct for you and whether it makes sense for you. Of course, we're going to talk about the challenge, which is remote income, bringing money to Paraguay. Are you ready to do that? And I'll talk about how I can help you with that at some point. But the point of this video is really why Paraguay, what makes it so attractive, what's it really like here, what's my experience been, what's my family's experience been. And let me try and bring this chat up a little bit bigger. It's a little hard to read. Gonna go over expenses relatively soon. It won't take me long to get there. I'll try and break it down. Just went grocery shopping today and love it when I go grocery shopping, see how much I get for my money compared to Canada, which has been pretty rough on the grocery scene as of late. Hope you guys can hear me all right. If there's any issues with the stream, let me know. Welcome, Jacques. Welcome, Milos. Welcome, JJ. So let's just talk about where is Paraguay and what is this sound? This is not good. I don't want to hear a sound for every chat message, but may not have a choice. Don't really think I can adjust that at this time. 13,000 viewers already. Great to see you guys out there. Love to have all of you here. Let's talk about it, guys. Let's talk about Paraguay. Where are we in the world right now? Well, if you didn't know, it's dead smack center in South America. Never in my life did I think I would end up in the middle of South America and be so happy, so satisfied, so fulfilled. I mean, it's early on in my journey. I've been here for 7 months. My family's been with me. If you guys don't know me, by the way, my name's Rich UX. I'm 41 years old. I'm married, been married for 13 years. Have 2 children, lovely children, 2 boys, ages 5 and 2. And I've traveled all around the world. Hong Kong, you know, based out of Hong Kong for a while. I graduated law school in Hong Kong. That let me go to Bali, Taiwan, Vietnam, Japan. I visited all those places. I've been to Eastern Europe and seen the beauty of that. Serbia, Croatia, Greece, Macedonia. I've been to all around North America, of course, Mexico. I went to El Salvador trying to check out the Bitcoin scene. If you got questions for me, throw them in the chat. I'll try and get to them as soon as I can. But this is where we are, right? We're north of Argentina. We are south of Brazil. We are bordering Bolivia. And we're also very close to Uruguay and relatively close to Chile. I've been doing some research on the Patagonia region, which just looks so phenomenal. I think that's really like my life's goal, is to travel down into the southern part of Chile and Argentina and go by car and see as much of the Patagonia region as possible. It seems really, really special. All of South America seems really special. No doubt about it. It's not as developed as you might see in North America. They have a very distinct differentiation when it comes to certain elements of life. But the way things are going right now in 2025, the political climate, all these other ideological changes, like South America is really the future for so many people. It's going to be a huge place to invest in the next 30 years. I can see it happening already as I see Paraguay growing so quickly. So here's a little bit of a zoom in. Okay, so you can see that it's quite a big region. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of different areas. And I recently traveled to Buenos Aires, which is somewhere around here, I believe, which was very special. That was the first place I've traveled to. But you can see Assunción is sort of here in the south central part of Paraguay. Very little residents up in the Chaco region, the northern part of Paraguay. So Paraguay is a agricultural focused country. And so once you get outside of the city, everything is agricultural. And this is the land of the main central area. So there's about 500,000 people in Assunción, this little place over here on the left near the river. And as you notice, like Paraguay is landlocked, and people love to criticize it. They love to say, oh, it's landlocked, ha ha ha, you don't have a beach. And yeah, that can be a little disappointing for certain people, but let me tell you what is really the amazing part of not having a beach. You've got Brazil, you've got Chile, you've got, of course, Mexico, beach, 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 beach. But here's the thing. Paraguay has zero tourism, like absolutely nothing. There's nobody here coming as a tourist. There's no real nightlife. I see there's maybe one block with a couple of nightclubs on a Saturday night that's a little bit bumping, but there's nothing here for tourists. And that makes it a really great place to live and raise your family. Okay, you don't have a lot of people coming in who don't care about the country. You don't have a lot of people coming in to cause any sort of disruption. You don't have expat tourism, drug-related activities, vacation-related activities, heavy drinking, drug usage. You don't have all that. All right, so I think that's actually a secret advantage of the region, that there's very little tourism, and so it makes it an attractive place to potentially base your life. And we're going to talk about residency. We're going to talk about living here and how you can pay tax here, which is very little tax, but continue your life in other locations. Even if you just want to have a base here, you don't have to live permanently here. There's a lot of options. All right. So this is Assunción. This is where you want to land. If you come into Assunción, you want to live or stay over here. This is the downtown region over here where you see Costanera de Assunción near the river. This is sort of the old school downtown. You want to come in here north of Recoleta. There's a place called Villa Mora. It's not here on the map, but it's basically like this is like the upper class area. You're going to have a really good time landing here, getting an Airbnb here, and sort of starting out here. Now, I've moved over into the Fernando de la Mora region. It's a little bit further out, but it's close to my kids' school and it's cheaper. And there's a lot of great up and coming elements. There's no high rises, very little. There's not a lot of construction compared to Asuncion. Right now, Asuncion is going through this heavy construction phase because there's so many people who want to now move to Paraguay. The number one group of people that want to move to Paraguay right now is Brazilians. Look at how big Brazil is. It's a huge freaking country, huge. And by far, 10 times more than any other group, Brazilians are coming into Paraguay. So let's talk about why Paraguay, okay? First and foremost, let's talk about taxation. I think I have some notes over here about taxation, yeah. So taxation, what you have to understand is that it's territorial taxation. Paraguay operates under pure territorial tax system. So this is what it means. You only pay taxes on income generated inside of Paraguay. If your earnings come from abroad, whether through investments, dividends, or digital businesses, your tax rate is legally cero or zero, as you English gringos like to say. 0%. So as someone who has a digital business, I'm working towards paying 0%. Now, before you can switch over to the Paraguay tax system, you have to leave your existing tax residency. For me, that's Canada. There's a bit of a process there, and I'm very, very close. And very shortly, I will be operating in a zero income tax scenario. And it's like, I said that in my recent video, that if you go to a place where the cost of living is half, you doubled your purchasing power. And if you removed your income tax, which could be up to 30, 40% for some of us, you're almost doubling it again, right? So if I keep all of my money instead of 70%, and then I cut my cost of living, that is such a massive life change. And I just feel that really I'm doing it for my children, is to set them up with some alternative options for the future. And, you know, raising them in the mindset of digital business. We're entering this AI era, and we really have to be aware of what's going on. We have to be ready to change. We have to be flexible. So this is special, okay? This is special. Now, even if you pay tax, it's only 10%. So even if you started a business in Paraguay, even if you were working in Paraguay with Paraguayan, clients, 10%. In Canada, we're facing 25 to 50% if we're an above average earner, and that is unsustainable for so many of us. We can't save money. We can't get ahead. We can't invest. And it's just very, very difficult. So the number one reason I was looking here, well, I'd say the first reason is the ease of residency, and we'll talk about that next. But taxation is really such a special reason why you should consider coming here. You could really change the course of your life. And if you think about it, if you're earning like 7,000 or 8,000 a month in Canada right now, and that Canadian dollar is really crap these days, let's call it 5,000 US, 7,000 Canadian dollars a month. Like, that's a decent salary for a lot of people. You know, how much of that are you keeping at the end of the day? Maybe you're keeping 4,000 to 5,000 Canadian, but the rent, you're going to be paying 1,500 at a bare minimum. Bare minimum. Most people paying 2,000 to 3,000 a month for any major city, because that's where you're going to have to go to get that kind of an income. So now what? You're down to what? 2,000 a month to pay for everything else in life? It's just so difficult to get by. And you see in Canada, like, all these people receiving government subsidies, and they're not even Canadian citizens. It just seems so outrageous to people. And I definitely resonate with the pain of that and having difficulty accepting, the government's choice to do that. So let's go on to number B here, letter B, soft freedom. Okay, soft freedom. What does that mean? The Paraguayan government, and I think someone's asking about that, how stable is the government? The government's very stable. I don't feel like there's any instability here. The currency's doing well against the US dollar right now. But the government does not care about you. The government is chill, as they like to say, tranquilo in Paraguay. Tranquilo culture is chill culture, okay? I feel very free here. I feel very free to live my life, not be bothered. The government's not chasing me down for every little thing. It was very easy to get a driver's license. It was very easy to get residency. Of course, I used a professional immigration specialist / lawyer to do everything, but it couldn't have been easier. It was so simple and straightforward. For like $2,000, someone's going to do everything for you to get you that residency. Let's talk about the cost of living. I got this little chart right here. And I'm going to compare it against Vancouver for you guys. I know a lot of you don't live in Vancouver and it doesn't matter. But I mean, look first of all at the population. Almost identical population in the central areas. And both Vancouver and Ascension have about 4 million people in the grand proper area, a little bit further out. But look at the cost of living for a family. In Vancouver, I have 2 kids, $5,600 a month. So if you don't earn $10,000 a month, like, you have no money left. This is so extreme for the average person. Whereas in Ascension, the cost of living is $1,688. What is that? 1/3? Less than 1/3. So you see what I'm saying? Just if we look at the general cost of living numbers, way different. Family rent, $2,678. So I own a home in Canada and my mortgage was over $3,000 a month. Here, I'm renting a very lovely 2-bedroom townhome, brand new, quite lovely, in a nice area. It's in a gated community. We have a 24-hour security. We have 12 units. Everyone's really chill here, really nice. Everyone moved into this place kind of at the same time. So we all kind of knew it's quite a nice community vibe so far. We are paying 5 million guaranis per month. So let's calculate what that currently is. So right now, 5,500 guaranis is $1 Canadian, and 7,000 guaranis is $1 US. So if we go 5 million divided by 5,500, I'm paying 900 Canadian right now per month. And if I was United States dollars, that would be a bit closer to $710 a month for a brand new place. You know, you can't find that, and you can even find cheaper. I can tell you that. If you just go with a slightly older unit, you are going to be able to find something in the $500 to $600 region. This is obviously United States dollars pricing, is my guess. So, you know, cost of living, rent, very accurate what I'm seeing here. And let me just double back off of that Canadian mortgage. This is going to be a telling sign, guys, right here. This is going to really shock you. So when I was living in Canada, paying my mortgage and paying for my family and paying that $6,000 plus a month, more, trust me, it's more. If your wife wants decent things, if your kids want toys, if you want anything decent, and I had no car payment. I had a 2015 Corolla that I was still driving since when I first bought it. I did a payment plan. And ever since I learned about Bitcoin, I couldn't bring myself to buy a new car. I'm pretty stingy about not spending things outside of Bitcoin. I want to accumulate Bitcoin, whatever, that's another topic. But let me make this point really clear for you guys. It was cheaper to pay my Canadian mortgage and leave my home empty and move to Paraguay and rent this place and live in Paraguay than to live in Canada. Does that make sense? It was cheaper for me to pay a $3,000 penalty, we'll call it a penalty, and be in Paraguay than to not pay a $3,000 penalty and live in Canada. And so that comes back to this cost of living, right? Like you can see this is like a $4,000 difference. So it's actually that reasonable to move here. If you were affording a life in Canada, you will find it very, very reasonable in Paraguay. Last night, I went out for a late night eats. I had like one of those, I don't even know what you call it. They call it Arabe. It stands for Arab. Like, what is it called? Like, what do you call that? It's like the wrap with the meat in it. I had one of those. I had some fries. I had a Coke. I think it was $9 Canadian, about $6 US. So like meals here are going to be under $10 to $12 per person probably, with some sort of side and drink. And I think I talked about that in the video, but you can go to the best restaurants and eat for under, I'd say $20 to $30. Like that sounds high in Paraguay. That sounds high, but it's the best, right? It's very high quality, nice sit down, even fine dining, whatever. So food is very cost effective here. And in Ascension, it's like considered expensive. If you move out of the town and you go a bit further, it's going to get real cheap. People love eating like empanadas. There's some really popular bread type things to eat called chipa and pan de queso. It's like this bread with cheese. Like we were at the grocery store earlier today. You would never see this in Canada. I don't know about the US, probably not. But when you buy the breads, they are still warm. They are still warm. You're eating them warm as you leave the grocery store. It's that fresh. Like, how is it possible that a third world, which it's definitely not third world by any standards anymore, but people love to say that, second world, whatever. Like, why is the bread fresh? Why is the bread warm? But then you go to Canada and you're eating bread that's probably been sitting there or on a truck for like 2 weeks with all these preservatives. Like, what is going on? Honestly, what is going on? So grocery store today, we bought beef, we bought mussels, we bought sausage, we bought 2 packs of milk, we bought 2 packages of garbage bags. We bought some bread, like these little bread things I'm talking about. I bought a bottle of wine, 2023 from Argentina. What else did we get today? A lot of fruits and veggies, not tons, but you know, definitely a couple different items. It was $68 US for 4 bags of groceries. Like I remember going to Canada and like 2 bags of groceries was getting up to $100. So you're probably getting twice as much at the grocery store. And the grocery stores in Paraguay are the best in South America. I don't know how I got so lucky, but they are literally the best. They are so nice. They're well stocked. They're very clean, well lit. Like, do you ever go to the grocery store in Canada or the United States and they're just playing like this weird 80s or 90s like music? It's kind of like you're in like a weird movie almost. You're kind of like, where am I? Like whenever I leave the country, go to Asia, maybe South America, Europe, and then I go back to Canada and I go to the grocery store, it's like zombie land. It's like so weird. It just sounds weird. It's darkish. You know, you're just surrounded by all these like brand names. And yeah, you have that in South America too, but I don't know. There's just something about the Canadian grocery store that I don't like the vibes. Transportation, I don't know much about it. I take Uber. I don't take the bus. I don't have a car right now. I'm trying to buy a car, but Uber is cheap. I don't know why it's so cheap, but most rides are about, I'd say 25,000 to 40,000 Guaranis. So that's going to be about $5 Canadian. If you're doing a really short ride, it could be as low as 12,000 Guaranis. So maybe about 250 Canadian. You know, if you convert that to US, that's really, really cheap. All right, so that's a big question a lot of people have, cost of living. Let me go to the chat for a second and see if I can read a couple questions. Are you considering buying land or building a house? Eventually, yeah. Eventually, yeah. I mean, why not? Absolutely. A foreigner can own land, easy to build. I mean, easy in relative terms. Like I find in Canada, it's very hard to build. Permit city. Like you need permits, permits, permits. The cost of lumber, the cost of people helping you, just exorbitant. You can't afford to build a house in Canada anymore. And I don't even know what's going to happen in the future. Here, you can build very affordable. For $100K, you could build a substantial house. For $300K, you could build an epic mansion. Epic. I saw in the San Bernardino Lake area, I saw a house for about $350,000 US, and it was phenomenal. Glass 360 views, pool, beautiful, double level, everything you want. So, I mean, I think that's like a later stage. Right now, I'm just trying to get my kids organized for school, have them in a routine. They're trying to learn Spanish. We're all trying to learn Espanol. And it's challenging, right? For an adult, it's challenging. It seems my kids are doing pretty well. I'm pretty happy for them. My son's with his Spanish tutor right now as we speak. So going good. Why do Brazilians move to Paraguay? I think it's the problems that Brazilians are facing. My understanding is I really don't know a lot about Brazil, but I understand that maybe it's a little bit, is it communist, socialist? It's leaning that way. It's a little bit of government problems. I think there's a safety problem in Brazil. I can't speak to Brazil too much. I haven't done a lot of research, but I just know that Brazil is not in the greatest spot. I've heard something like, if you go to Brazil and you tell a local, like, oh, I love Brazil, they're going to say, well, that's because you don't live here. Sort of meaning like, yeah, it's easy to come here and enjoy the beach and the women and the food and whatever we have, but you know, if you actually have to live here, it's a bit of a pain. Next question. Not seeing a lot of questions, so I'm going to carry on with my whiteboarding. Food quality, really good. I really like the food here. And there's cultural variance. There's an amazing Korean restaurant. I might go tonight. Just like a world-class chef named Sue. She makes amazing food. Her restaurant is beautiful. She has all these awards. She has all these celebrities in her on the wall. And it's really good. There's a Japanese restaurant down the street from us. We get a bit of sushi there. They sell like what they call asadito. It's like meat on a stick grilled. They call it, what is it called? I'm losing my mind here. What is it called in Japan? The special kind of beef. I can't believe I can't think of it right now. But, you know, it's a high quality beef. I don't think it's authentic, but it's not bad. We'll go there twice a month. We just found an amazing Peruvian restaurant. We had a really good ceviche, really solid lomo saltado, which is beef with onions and mushrooms, and really good fries. They make the fries not with seed oils, but with, what was it called? Man, my brain's not working. I think I have some brain fog these days because I've been consuming a bit too much gluten. I think gluten gives you brain fog. Anyways, that's another topic. But what is it? It's more of a ghee. The fries, I think, are made with ghee, and it's a really high quality sort of oil type product. And fries taste really good, really authentic. Had some rice, and my kids had a roasted chicken. They shared that with some fries. They were loving that. So, we had some pisco sour from really strong drinks with ice. It was really good, though. Really solid. And the price for the meal was 280,000 Guaranis. So that's going to be about $40 Canadian. When's the last time you took your family out? Everybody had a nice entree. You had 2 alcohol-based drinks. You had a jar of lemonade. And it was $40 Canadian. You can't do that. I was with my friend the other day when I went back to Canada to pick up some stuff. Like every meal for 2 people was like $100. It was outrageous. And the food in Canada it can be decent, but there's a lot of mediocre stuff too. Like I hear people talking about Sysco, Sysco. It's like the company that does food distribution across North America. Like a lot of restaurants, they just serve variations of the Sysco products. So a lot of restaurants will have like the exact same items, barely differentiated. But man, and in Canada, you're going to have tax on top and then definitely an expected tip. So when I went to the Peruvian restaurant, she's like, oh, it's 280,000. And she was speaking amazing English. We were having a great time. And I took out 330. So it was 280 and I took out 330. And she's like, no, it's only 280. Like she wasn't expecting a tip. Zero expectation. Maybe she thought maybe 5 or 10. And when I say that, I mean 5,000 or 10,000 Guaranis. So gave her a nice tip and we were just kind of laughing about it, you know, like you tip like 12% and they're just like, wow, you know, that's amazing. So, you know, again, just kind of comes back to the money and the expectations, the living. And it's really cool down here. I don't know what you imagine, but like when I grew up, I imagined a lot more like what you might think in like a Mexico scene. Like everything's really dusty. Everything's really dirty and old. And I don't get that vibe from Paraguay. In fact, let me play a quick video for you guys of Paraguay that I downloaded for you. Check this out. Isn't that a place you want to live? Isn't that a place you want to live? Come on, look at that again. The pink tree is the national tree, the national flower. It comes once a year. Someone's saying my mic is only in the left ear. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't know how to fix that right now. Maybe it's double track, down sync to mono. I don't want to mess with it. What if I do that? What if I do that? How does that sound now? Is that giving you both ears? Maybe that'll help. Let me know about that. Like I said, I haven't been streaming for a while, so. What are the negatives compared to Canada? Well, I'd say Paraguay would be considered a little bit boring, right? Like you don't have endless hikes. You don't have endless outdoor activities. It's a hot country. But honestly, let's get to the weather. We'll go to safety after this. The weather has been so good. Like what's the weather right now? It's probably like 23 degrees. Like I've been mind blown. I've been really enjoying the weather here compared to Canada. But let's see what the weather is right now. There you go, right there. 22, it's a little cloudy today. Normally it's sunny, but lately it's been ranging from 25 to 30. So it's a pretty warm temperature. But when we get to December, January, February, it's going to get hot. It's going to get hot. We got nice AC here though, so we don't have to worry about that. AC all around. You know, you go to the shopping mall, the grocery store, the restaurant, they all have AC. It's not like everything's broken down here. It's growing, it's improving. It's really going to be a popular destination in the next 10 years. I'm sure of it. And they might change it. They might take away that easy residency. So let's see what happens. But weather, it'll be like sunny almost every day. And then it'll be a rainstorm with epic thunder and lightning. Like I like it. I think it's cool. And you can tell when it gets like really humid, it's like, oh, the rain's going to come. And the rain will come and it'll have this nice few days of really chill, cool weather. So safety, I want to talk about safety. Very freaking safe, unbelievably safe. I can't believe it. It is the safest place that I've been for a long time. I don't know what it is. Well, I do know what it is. I'll tell you in a second, but when we get to demographics, but it's so safe here. Women can walk around without ever being harassed in any way, shape, or form. And there's a lot of beautiful women here, okay? Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of beautiful women in Paraguay, and they are completely safe. They can do whatever they want. No one's going to bother them. You know, there's a really powerful youth culture, you know, a collegiate culture here. People are in good moods. They're out having a beer. They're having a good time. I feel like in Canada, everyone sort of like went inside, and it's like, I don't see women out anymore. I don't see them out. And I just feel like they get harassed. They're scared. Like, I was walking downtown Vancouver recently when I arrived by plane, and it was like 4 or 5 a.m. Or 6 a.m. I happened to be arriving very early. And like, I couldn't help but feel that like every person I walked by was like kind of a threat. Like at any minute I would have to like defend myself. Like I was out in the town because I had just got off a plane and I was trying to catch a bus to the ferry to go where I live. But like, why are these other people out at 5, 6 a.m.? What are they doing? Like, I don't know. Maybe that doesn't make sense, but I didn't feel like at peace. Like, I don't know what that is. You know, there's not a lot of guns in Canada. There is in the United States, but you know, in Canada, they can have other weapons. They can have other problems. And I think like when you know that in Canada or other places, like it's getting so expensive, like, you know, people are getting more desperate, and you know, you never know like who's at the brink of robbing you or threatening you or harming you. And I haven't seen 1 ounce of crime since I got to Paraguay 7 months ago. And on the opposite, I've received so much friendliness, so much, hey, let me help you with that. Hey, let me show you how to do that. Let me do that for you. For instance, I was on a WhatsApp group today, and I was like, hey, does anyone know about getting a used car? And like within 5 minutes, someone messaged me, and he's like, hey, I'm from Paraguay. Like, what are you trying to do? And he gave me all this advice. And then he's like, do you want me to go help you translate at the car dealership? You know, just kind of friendly. And I was a couple weeks, maybe 2-3 months back, some guy was like, hey, you sound like you have a podcast. Like he said in Spanish to the person I was with, they're like, hey, this guy, he sounds like the podcast man. And I was like, yeah. I kind of have a podcast or whatever. And he was like, yeah, let's hang out. You know, I didn't know this guy. He's like, let's have a beer or whatever. He's like, let's speak English together. So, you know, there's a real great sense of friendliness. And I think because tourism isn't here, when a foreigner comes in, I think people are really interested in that. And I think that they want to show you how good the country is. They want to show you how proud they are of the country. So safety, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 safety rating. Like growing up in Canada, the government always tells you like, don't go that way. It's not safe. It's kind of like Truman Show. It's like, don't go out in the water. It's too dangerous, Truman. Like, don't do it. Stay here. And I just think it's a big trick, you know? And I think that if you take a little bit of adventure, like you're going to find some amazing hidden gems. And I truly believe that Paraguay is a hidden gem. So let's go on over to the next topic, like culture and demographics. I think I'm already kind of speaking about it, but what I was just doing some research earlier, I wanted to know like what percentage of the population is Christian. And I'm personally not identifying as a Christian, although I'm getting more interested in it. Did not grow up religious at all. 95 to 97% of people identify as a Christian. And I'm telling you that that is why this place is very safe. Like, people, whether they fear God or they fear their community, I don't know. They don't want to do bad stuff here. They have a high moral and ethical culture here. And it's a homogenous culture. Everybody is kind of very similar. And so it's keeping the values very strong. And so as someone who's coming from the outside, it's very important that I adopt the culture and I assimilate to the culture. Like, maybe I need to start going to church. Maybe I need to start reading the Bible. Maybe I need to learn about Christianity. I think that that's really important, because I think that that's the problem in Canada, is that we invite so many people who refuse to assimilate and dilute the values of the country, and then actually try to enforce their values on top. And I just don't think that works. Like, it's not about right and wrong. It's not about who's better. It's just that doesn't work. And a country has to have a sense of solidarity. Otherwise, it's not even a country. It's not a country anymore. Canada is not a country anymore. And we need to accept that. Canada is an economic zone. Think about that. A country, the people should want to fight for something. The people should stand for something. When you allow so many people to enter the country unchecked, undocumented, lying about their backgrounds, lying about who they are, whether they're a refugee or not, I'm telling you, you have hundreds of thousands of people studying in Canada at fake colleges. It's so obvious. And they can bring more people here. They're abusing the system. Go do some research. The government is giving people who are under a refugee status like $80,000 a year tax-free. So while you and I are grinding our ass 40 to 50 to 60 hours a week for maybe $60,000 a year, if we're lucky, and I do feel quite lucky with my life that I've been able to receive an education and an experience that has brought me to a higher standard of quality of life. I'm not going to deny that. And then you have these people who say, oh, I'm a refugee because there's some problems in my country. It's like, well, what does that mean? Like, what does that have to do with our country? Why do we have to provide for people all around the world? We can't even provide for our own citizens. Like, Canadians are starting to be hungry. Canadians are living in tiny boxes. Like, the tiny home movement. It's like, what is that? People are choosing to live in tiny homes. Like, it's outrageous, guys. It's so absurd what's going on. And you're giving out $80,000 a person. And so what's going on? Like, there are people, and I'm not going to identify where they're from, but there are people coming over, sending their passport back to their home country, and then that person comes with that passport as a different person, and they're all receiving benefits. They're not putting it into the country. They're causing a strain on the country. And I have no problem with any individual person. It's just very obvious that it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It's unsustainable. It is on an unsustainable track. And why was I going here? I don't know, but what I see in Paraguay is a homogenous culture with shared values. You know, Paraguay was in a crazy war like 100 years ago or whatever. They were up against Bolivia, Brazil, Argentina all at once. They lost like 70 to 80% of their population and they boomed back up. They are a resilient culture and they're a family-based culture. And it's very, very nice to see. And so, like I said, It's very important that I assimilate and I get my family speaking Spanish, that we adopt the habits, beliefs, and ideology of Paraguay, no matter what. Because that's the only way it works. If I come in and I'm just like, yeah, let's do it expat style, like let's not learn Spanish and let's start English speaking only elements. It's like you are starting the domino of the downfall. Like, I don't even love making this video because I don't want anyone else to come. Because I don't trust you to make it as good as I would or to care as much as I would. Maybe you're hearing, oh, zero tax, oh, low cost of living. It's like, yeah, great. But are you ready to assimilate? And I just see that in Canada, nobody assimilates. You get every cultural town. You get Chinatown, Korean town, Indian town, Italy town. Like every town is there. There's no Canadian town anymore. It's just like, it doesn't work. And it's just like the future is going to be difficult, unfortunately. And you know, I don't know what's going to happen. I do believe we're heading towards UBI, Universal Basic Income. So maybe you'll have some free money every month to help you pay. But did you see Canada approves cloned meat? Like, it's not a high quality of living. It's just a joke. And, you know, Canada has fallen down, way down the global ranking index of quality of life. Don't even get me started on the medical system. I don't understand how people can think free medical is a good idea. Like, people want things for free because they're probably poor or they don't have a lot of money, and that's very understandable. But the average person should not want their healthcare to be free, because whenever something's free, like, you're the product. Like, you are in this economic zone where you're going to be recommended some pharmaceuticals. You're going to be on it for the rest of your life. You took the free advice. And it's worthless. It's just worthless. I hope ChatGPT cuts out all these crappy pill-pushing doctors. I hope ChatGPT crushes all the real estate agents, parasites in most cases, taking massive commissions for barely doing anything. It's so wrong. I hope so many people who are not adding value to their country and the world are replaced. And I just think it's like, that may be a harsh thing to hear or say, but like, we live in a time where there's so many people abusing us. Like, I am you. I am not a rich person. I am not some crazy wealthy person. I am not a politician. I have student loan debt. I struggle to pay for life. I struggle to raise my family like anyone else. And I'm just one of you. And I'm just so sick and tired of people leeching and taking and taxing and abusing and stealing. Like, I've never done any of those things. I've never taken one thing. I've never even used the healthcare system once in my life. Never had a broken bone. And hey, I'm grateful for that. But it's like, people love to hear my story and shit on me and be like, yeah, well, you'll probably come back to Canada because of the free healthcare and you'll use it when you need it. It's like, no, I wouldn't. I will pay cash for the private care somewhere else. And if you've been injured and you needed an MRI or a bone scan or some sort of x-ray, you know, in Canada, you're waiting 3 to 6 months. The number of people who have died in Canada waiting for healthcare is astronomical. So don't tell me like free healthcare is a good idea. Too bad Paraguay doesn't have a beach town. Yes and no. I already talked about that earlier and the downsides of having a beach, but here's the good news. You can go to San Bernardino, which is a lake, and I went there 2 months ago. I was the only one on the beach. It wasn't perfect, but it was nice. It's only 40 minutes from Ascension, and it's this cute little German-based town, and it's really cool. They had a couple of nice restaurants there. It was a chill zone. So you can still find that chill vibe if you're looking for it. So what else can we talk about here? Oh, people wanted to know about education. Okay, education. Let's talk education. So there's a lot of schools in Paraguay. And they definitely have a range of public to private institutions. There's colleges, preschools, everything. So when I got here, I put my 2 children in a bilingual preschool, and they love it. Took them a week, maybe 2 to get adjusted, but they learn both Spanish and English there, and it's amazing. It's about 150 to 200 US each for them. It's a little bit pricey, but it's the best preschool in Ascension, at least according to what I've researched. And they can go 5 days a week. And I just take my kids there from 8:30 to 11:30 for 3 hours. They get a nice little snack. They get attention. There's like maybe 5 to 6 kids per class with 2 teachers. There's different levels and ages. And they're going to have their graduation ceremony in about a month and a bit. They do artwork. We went to their art show. They did so much artwork. They do songs. They do a lot of fun stuff. They send you pictures. They have an app. So you have an app, and you can see what the kid is doing every day. Did they eat? Were they well behaved? And then they send out a PDF that shows you all the projects they've been working on and everything they learned that week or that month or whatever. And they have cameras too, I think, if you want them. I don't check that out. It's very secure. They can only be picked up by the assigned person. So very safe. But I recently got my children into their next regular school, so kindergarten. So my oldest will be starting kindergarten. He'll be 5, going 6. And my youngest will go there as well, but they have like a preschool as well. And it's supposed to be one of the best schools in Ascension proper, maybe in Paraguay. And like one of the major politicians graduated from there. A lot of well-known people graduated from there. And I really like it. It's not the most beautiful school, but they really focus on values. And values is a word that I didn't even learn till I was an adult. Values is so important. To have values, to understand values, and to impute values at an early age is so important. And they have chess team, they have all the sports, they have taekwondo, they have music, and they're very art focused. So really like what I see there. The cost isn't cheap. It's 1,000 US to get started, to register. That's a one-time fee. And then I think it's about 250, 210 US dollars a month per child. But this is like a private education. And so, look, I went to public school. I never went to private school. But as someone who can afford private education for my children in Paraguay, I'm going to do that. I think that let's be honest about school. I'm going to tell you the problem about school is a school is always designed for the lowest level of people going there. So it's not designed for the highest level thinkers. I was a bright young person, and so I was taken out of my class and put into a special group where I could do more accelerated activities. And that was a very small group. And so the point I'm making with that is that school is designed for the lowest common denominator. And no disrespect, no offense, that's just the reality of it. And so if you can afford a private school, you should. You're going to raise that common denominator and have more people who want high values imputed into their children. And look, you don't have to agree with everything I say. You don't have to think like me, whatever. But I'm just giving you the truth about what I'm seeing, why I do it, what I want. I'm sure a lot of Canadian parents resonate with me. There was no way my kids were going to a Canadian school. The number of problems that I see in Canadian schools is unbelievable. I liked my school when I grew up. We had good teachers. Now I don't know what is going on. I don't understand what is going on. I'm not going to talk about it on this stream. You can infer your own understanding, but there is no way. I was planning to homeschool my kids. I preferred to homeschool than to send them to Canadian school. So people are like, oh, the education is so good in Canada. It's yeah, maybe you learn a little bit extra of some stupid topics, but at what cost of indoctrination of BS? Like, you're learning so many dumb things. You're not going to learn how to start a business. You're not going to learn how to be financially savvy. There's another school I'm looking at for my kids for high school about 7 to 10 years from now. They're forced to start a business. They have a complete business education before they graduate grade 12. Like, I don't want to go too deep on the anti-Canada. I'm cool with Canada. If you like Canada, good for you. If you're getting a lot of benefits, enjoy it while it lasts. I've never received any crazy benefits in Canada, so I don't feel any allegiance there. I don't feel like Canada has done a lot for me personally. I feel like I've paid a lot of taxes to Canada over my 40-year lifespan, and my parents have paid an astronomical amount of taxes that I can see. And I don't see how our family has benefited from that. I just see degradation. My family home gets robbed, more attempts at robbery. You know, I can't say it's a strong, like, love-based experience. It's like concerning. So I was looking at some comparison charts earlier, and it's like the education in Canada is higher quality than Paraguay. Like, I think that's debatable. Like, I would like to see the average child going through both and where they end up, because, like, we can't really see where the world is going right now. Not only is there a question of AI and how it interacts with school, but again, values. Like, if a country is like, if you're following Canada right now, the news is the budget. They are going to be in a deficit. And look, deficit, inflation, money printing, that's another topic for another day. Whether it's good to be in a deficit or not is another topic in another day. But you can't tell me Canada is thriving in any way, shape, or form. And so doesn't that come back to some part of the educational system? And if it doesn't, well, then you have to argue, well, who's running the country? If it's not Canadians running the country who have a great education, who is it? Who are these people that are making these decisions? And what is going on in British Columbia right now with property rights? Like, what is going on? This can't be real life anymore. You ever hear like Elon Musk say it's a simulation? You ever hear like, oh, you're in a movie? Like, yeah, this can't be real life. Like, this is not the life I grew up in the 80s and 90s. It's not even technology. There's something that is significantly different, and I don't get it. By the way, shout out to all 21,000 people here. Thank you so much for joining this live stream. If you've got questions, put it in the chat. I'll try and get to it. But yeah, like, things are weird, man. And here's the cool thing about Paraguay. It's like you go back to the 90s. Everything is back a little bit. We still have fast internet and it's cheap, but it's not as crazy as what you see in North America right now. It's not this economic zone of extraction, of taxation, of rat race. It's not. It's good. And yeah, some of the roads aren't smooth. And yeah, sometimes the air isn't perfect. But like I said earlier, the soft freedom is so valuable to a real man. Like, if you're a government wage cuck and you work for the government and you love the government and you get benefits from the government, yeah, keep voting for them. Personally, I don't really believe in elections anymore. I don't trust them. I've seen enough, whether it's some sort of manipulation, blatant cheating, whatever it is, I don't trust it. Whether you vote or not, I don't blame you. I don't believe I don't believe the vote is represented properly. I believe there's some sort of trickery going on. I don't believe it. Look, I don't want to get this channel canceled. I can't give you guys all my truths and secrets today. I got to be careful. This is just some random live stream. And we're at the 60-minute mark already. Time is flying by, so let's keep going. Look, I want to tell you something about the energy of this country. Energy. Check this out, guys. Check this out. 100% hydroelectric, baby. Now that is some big brain shit. Paraguay sits on top of one of the largest freshwater aquifers in the world, the Guarani Aquifer, shared with Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay. This underground reservoir contains an estimated 37,000 cubic kilometers of fresh water. That's 12 quadrillion gallons. It could supply all human water needs for centuries. Some guy commented on my video. It's like, yeah, but you live in Paraguay. What happens when the water doesn't work? It's like, dude, be more uninformed. Like, Paraguay is the leader in water. Okay, we got enough water. As they like to say, water for days. Okay, water for centuries. So energy is legit here. They should be mining the shit out of Bitcoin. I don't know what they're doing. I think they are. They cracked down on the illegal miners, but they should be mining a lot more Bitcoin here. What else we got here? The future. Paraguay is going to be big. 7% GDP growth in the last year. Astronomical. Now, sometimes GDP, it's hard to measure. It depends. But I think it's pretty accurate. I can see it's growing place. Investments coming in big time. I don't know about the future of Paraguay, though. I don't know much, right? What do I know? You know, I don't know every area. I don't know every industry, but it's good. It's a good time to be in Paraguay. Is it a good time to be in Canada? I'm not so sure. Is it a good time to be in New York or California? Spain? Portugal? Like, I don't know. Is it a good time to be in Hong Kong? I don't know. But it seems like it's a really good time to be in Paraguay. Let's talk about residency. Okay, let's talk about residency. I think that's a big part of like what people want to know. Did I write anything on residency? Yes. Okay. All right. So it's one of the easiest places to get residency because I've been a digital nomad for over 10 years. I would do like a 2-month trip to Bali. I would do a 2-month trip, to Taiwan. I would go places, but typically, and with a Canadian passport, it can be pretty beneficial, but most passports are pretty good. Let's be honest. You can do 3 months and then you got to leave, or you got to do a border run. Very common to do a border run, but you don't want to do that for your whole life. It's not going to work out. So you want to get residency so you can stay for as long as you want, right? And it's easy. All you need, valid passport, you need to have your birth certificate and a criminal record, and you need to get it apostilled. So that means like you send it to like the Paraguayan embassy in your country, I think, and they certify that that is an authentic document from your country. You bring your passport, your birth certificate, and criminal record to Paraguay, and you apply, and that's it. That's it. Here's the cool thing. You only need to be here 1 day a year to maintain it. And in fact, you could probably get away without being here. And if you really had to, come on December 31st and January 1st, and you're covered for the 2 years. You don't need to prove income. If you want to be a resident in Mexico, you need to prove $4,000 minimum a month per person. You don't need to make investments. And you can apply for permanent residency after 2 years. If you're sitting there right now and you want to get residency, go to richandniche.com/residency, fill out the form, send you an email, write me back, or just email me, rich@richandniche.com. And I'll tell you about the 2 different residency services that I like and trust and the differences. There's some different prices and different options. Different people offer different packages, and I can help you think that through. So residency is easy. It was so easy for me. I couldn't believe it. And that's like one of the main reasons you're just like, let's go, let's do it. So get your birth certificate out, check your passport, and go get your criminal record check done. You need to have a national criminal record check. Very easy to do in Canada. Takes 15 minutes, costs like $40 or something. Super easy. And then you can stay here as long as you want. Okay? Super easy. So same thing with permanent residency. It's just an application. There's nothing complicated. Now, citizenship in Paraguay can be more difficult. And I don't think that matters to Americans because they don't want to give up their passport probably. But Canadian, I think you can have both. I don't know. I'm not at that stage yet. I'm not really worried about that. Like, I'm born a Canadian. I can't change that. I was given a Canadian passport. I can't really change that. I live my life based on the cards I'm dealt. Okay, I'm not here to apologize for the luck of the dice, if that's what you consider me to have. But I can just remain a Canadian citizen, but be a permanent resident of Paraguay. Like, that's fine with me, you know? Does that give me the ability to return to Canada? Yes. Would I return to Canada? Not in the current state. You know, having a wife and doing this is difficult. I'll tell you that. If you got a family, like, it's definitely a bigger challenge. Going by yourself, it's a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer. Come to South America and enjoy what South America has to offer. You can get an Airbnb, you can get a cheap rental, whatever it is, and just do it. But if you have a family, it's difficult. And my wife, can she be difficult at times? Yes. Can she be picky about things? Yes. But she likes Paraguay. She thinks it's good. And, you know, she'll often be like, I love it here. She'll be like, I love our house. She'll be like, I love this and that. And you know what? It was just October 31st, and there's no Halloween in Paraguay. Why? Because Christian people think it's evil, and I don't disagree with them. It's like a Satan's holiday. I don't disagree. I don't mind Halloween. It doesn't matter. I don't like it personally. But she was like, I feel so aligned with that. I don't need to celebrate this. Like, this is good. And it was just like, yeah, cool. So my point was that, like, you know, if your partner is a bit, picky or finicky about things, like, I don't consider my wife high maintenance at all. I don't think she is, but, you know, I think that the fact that she likes Paraguay says a lot. You know, a man, give me a mattress on the floor and give me an internet. I'm good. But like a woman wants like a home, right? And, you know, like I was saying, I pay for my mortgage in Canada still, $3,000, and I moved to Paraguay and I bought everything for my home. Mattress, couch, kitchen table, fridge, washing machine. Yeah, apartments don't seem to come. Oh, it was brand new. Maybe that's why, but it didn't come with a fridge or a washing machine. What else did I buy so far? You know, new clothes. We didn't come with a lot of clothes. We only packed like 3 big bags. You know, little things like I'm looking at a printer, some books, kids stuff, kids toys. So it's affordable, you know, and you got to get set up. You got to get set up for your family, you know. If I was to do it again, I would have sold more stuff before I left. So I recently went back to Canada and I had a big moving sale. I sold like $6,000 worth of stuff out of my house, and then I rented it to someone. So I left it empty for 6 months because I just wanted to go. You got to take action in life, guys. I just wanted to go. So it's like, just leave it empty. I'll pay for it. Whatever. We'll figure it out. And I've been like saving money here. I've been buying Bitcoin here. I've been buying shit here. Now I'm about to spend money on a car. Like, but I would have sold more before I left. I would have wanted to have a bit more cash. So come down with only US dollars. Don't bring anything else. And make sure they're perfect US dollars with the new hologram like sticker on it. It has like that line on it. They don't accept any old $100 bills. Let me check questions in the chat. If you had a question, post it right now again, because there's a chance I went too far down in the chat and I'm not going to see it. People are moving to Russia from Canada. My God. Doesn't that speak volumes? Oh my God. Gloria says, we know what's going on there. Yeah, I think you're talking about school, right? Yeah, it's effed up. Is there homeschooling in Paraguay? Great question. Like I said, soft freedom. Nobody cares. No, the government is not going to come visit you. They're not going to worry about what you post on social media. They're not going to worry and charge you all these extra property taxes and this and that. I mean, property tax, don't get me started. How is the expat community in there? It's good. It's growing. It's good. Like, I know I talked about assimilation a lot earlier, but you could live here without speaking Spanish. Especially if you're a single person, there's so many expat meetups and groups and places to go where people speak English. And a lot of Paraguayans speak English. They just won't admit it because they don't want you to make them speak English, because then they lose the power. They look like the silly one versus you who's trying to learn how to speak Spanish, right? Paraguay exports 85% of electricity. Well, it makes sense. And they export a lot of their food too, right? Like, Brazil and Argentina buy everything from Paraguay and then they sell it to China. It's kind of funny, right? Yeah, permanent residency is enough. What do I need to bring with me that is not available or affordable in Paraguay? Great question. That's a great question. So even though the cost of living is good, it's expensive to import something. And you see, like, that's a good rule. That keeps the economy in a bit of a bubble vacuum so that there's no countries abusing the country. There's no one bringing in cheap goods and it's good in my opinion. So no Amazon. So how we get Amazon packages is there's a place in Miami, Florida. So you ship your Amazon package there and they relay it into Paraguay. So it probably takes twice as long to get a package and you have to pay extra shipping. So I would plan to spend $25 to $50 on a box from Amazon. It depends on how much it weighs. So if you sent like 4 or 5 things at once, you probably pay like $50 to get that box. But that's a luxury. Paraguay has excellent shopping. We have excellent shopping malls. We have like Costco style shops. We have tech stores. We have China-based goods like LED lights, cheap goods, home goods. We have great home stores, both high-end and low-end. We have great food products, teas, coffees. What do you need to bring? Like, buy a computer before you leave, like buy an iPhone before you leave. Like, bring up-to-date technology and try not to buy it here for a while because you're going to pay an import fee on that. Although we have like Apple stores in Paraguay, they're like third-party Apple stores, but I'd say those things are a bit more expensive. Like, I can't buy my kids Lego. It's like 3 times as expensive. It's crazy. But they have Lego knockoffs that work exactly the same. It's the same blocks, just different design on the box. So we buy those, and those are cheap because they're made here. So I honestly can't think of much. Like, when I went back to Canada to get things to bring, it wasn't like I went shopping. I was getting my books, my clothes, and I should say our books, our clothes. I got a few of my old camera equipments. We got some of our kitchen items, and not because we couldn't get it here, but just don't want to buy it again. You spend 5-10 years living in Canada, you're going to accumulate some stuff you like. So if you can bring it, all the better. So I budgeted about like $2,000 to bring a shit ton of stuff, like 7 full boxes plus 3 full luggages of things from my Canadian home to Paraguay. And so now our home here will start looking a lot more like our old home, and it'll be very homey and what we're used to. A lot of the things that we had, just different home items, textiles, different bowls, different, things, just all sorts of stuff, personal items. I wouldn't say you got to bring a lot. Don't even bring clothes. Like, it's so cheap here to buy clothes. Like I bought a nice pair of running shoes for like $70. I think they were, what brand was it? It wasn't Nike. Nike's a bit expensive here, but like Havaianas, they come from Brazil. They're only like $12 here. You can buy a lot of sportswear, swimsuits, everything here. They have that Decathlon sports store. It's big, it's nice. Full on camping equipment, every sports equipment you could imagine, tennis, boxing, golf, yoga, basketball, soccer, of course, football. Football is life here. Everybody's watching football. You know one of my favorite things about Paraguay? It's going to the gas station. Like I don't have a car and I go to the gas station. Why? The gas station is nice. Has like a mini restaurant inside, fully stocked, very clean. And outside any major gas station, there's a patio with TVs. And you get a bucket of ice, you get 4 or 5 beers, you just chill out. That beer I drink, gluten-free. I can't have gluten. And for those of you who don't know about gluten, it's not the gluten, it's the processing of the wheat. It's all those problems. But you're probably still importing like wheat-based products here from America. Who knows what? I don't know everything about that, but I try not to have gluten. It doesn't make me feel good. So I have gluten-free beer. And the beers are kind of light beers. And I don't really drink a lot of beers, but here I kind of go with the culture. When I go to the store, it's 4,500 guaranis per beer. That's 80 cents Canadian. That's like 60 or 50 cents American. So you're gonna get 6 beers for like $3, $4. Is that healthy? That's another question. But like we have to just see that like your life can be so simple off like $3,000 a month. You'll be a king. Okay, I probably spend 4,000 or 5,000 a month. But like I like to go on a little mini trip here. Like I went to Argentina, I went to the San Bernardino Lake. Like I'm buying toys for my kids. We're shopping because we're adding to our house. But we can probably get down to 2,500 a month as a family and be perfectly comfortable. So a single person, man, you could do it off 1,500 a month, 2,000 a month. Like way less than you probably think. I don't know any other country where you can say that. Like even you go Thailand, the tourism has bumped the prices up. You know, you can't go Argentina. It's so expensive in Argentina. As bad as Canada. Same with Uruguay. Like it's not cheap. Where are you gonna go? Mexico? Which part of Mexico? Puerto Vallarta was expensive. Cancun, expensive. Don't even get me started on that Tulum place every girl likes. Checking questions. How is the mosquito problem there? So far, it's not bad at all. I mean, yeah, if you go to the forested areas, you're going to get a couple bugs, but you use bug spray. We use like an all natural like bug repellent. It's just like kind of like a soft lotiony type thing. But in the summer, I think it can get worse. So I bought these things on Amazon called like mosquito bombs or something like that. You put like a little bucket of water, you put one in, and it attracts the mosquito to lay the eggs there, and it will destroy the eggs, and it can really cut down on the mosquitoes in your area. Can you state what is needed for the move? Yeah, I went over that, and I'll just quickly bring you over here to Residency. The requirements are valid passport, apostilled birth certificate, and criminal record. And that's it. Get your lawyer or immigration specialist to fill out all your applications. That's all I did. I brought my passport, gave them my birth certificate and my criminal record, and that's it. No proof of income, nothing. Get those apostilled. I used idocscanada.ca or something like that. So they don't slaughter ostriches in Paraguay. Yeah, that's the viral news this morning, isn't it? I didn't look at any of those videos or watch that. I mean, you can get a sense of what's going on. That's an interesting little story, isn't it? And it kept poking up that like that ostrich farm was like getting some sort of like coronavirus antidote, which I don't know, is that true or not? But don't get me started on that topic. I'm sure you can assess my beliefs around that. So I think I answered all your questions. I think I'm up to date. Let me see what's on my list of discussions. Earning remote income. Let's get to that last. I know that's important, but that's not the point of this video. I'm not here to really talk about that. I want to talk about Paraguay. Leaving your home country. Is there anything else to say? I might have covered everything by now, but look, guys, if you're going to leave your home country, it's hard. It's hard if you have a big family. I think that would be hard. If you got a lot of friends, I think that would be hard. If you're part of a lot of communities, church, athletics, I think that could be hard. I need to tell you that I come from a very small family. I have very few friends, and I'm not a part of a ton of different communities. So I don't live in Vancouver, where I'm originally from. I moved about 40 minutes away, and you have to take a boat to get there. It's called the Sunshine Coast. That's where I used to live. It's small. There's only 40,000 people there. There's nothing to do there, but it's nice. You're near the water, you're near the forest, you pick mushrooms, you have a bear in the backyard, deer in the backyard. You know, you're outside of the city craziness. But like the only direct family I have is my father, who's living in Vancouver, so we don't see him a lot, and my wife's mother, who also lives in Vancouver, and we don't see them a lot. Was it hard to kind of leave them? Yeah, it is hard. It's not easy, but we call them like every week, maybe once every 2 weeks at the max. So you have like FaceTime now, right? It's easier to stay connected. And I think that our parents want us to do what's right for our children. They want us to have a good future. And I think even my father's like, you know, is it sustainable for you to stay in Canada? Like having 2 kids in 2025, is it viable? Because when I was living in Serbia in 2022, he's like, are you sure you're going to come back to Canada? Like, is that a good idea? Because when we got pregnant with our second kid, we went back to Canada so we could have some more support from our family to have the birth, even though we didn't really get a lot of support. But when you birth the baby, you kind of need a little bit of support. So you look, whether it's a friend, a family member. And before you go telling me, oh, well, you just went back to Canada to use the healthcare system to birth your baby. It's like, well, actually, I didn't. Both of my children were born at home, and it was a home birth. And I don't want to talk much more about that, but let's just say I delivered my second child by myself. So I don't use the healthcare system, like I said, and I can't get behind this free healthcare belief where you have to like, yeah, but Canada has free healthcare. Like, isn't that amazing? It's like, not to me, it isn't. It's like, oh, my kid, he broke his arm. He's going to have to wait in the emergency for 6 hours, and then he's going to need to wait for this, that. And it's like, I want it solved now, you know, like this is an emergency. Let's solve it. And so free healthcare doesn't really allow for that. And so look, I get it. If you need it, it should always be there. No one should be turned away, but they don't provide any other options. And when it's that government subsidized mode of healthcare, like it attracts the wrong type of healthcare professionals. And no disrespect to anyone out there who's working hard, doing their best, helping people of the country. Thank you. I don't think it's about that. I think it's about the administrative aspect. I think that insurance is also a scam. Like dentistry, I think it's honestly a scam. Like everyone in Canada has like dental benefits, or a lot of people do through their job. And so the cost of dentistry is like 5 to 10 times as much. In Paraguay, my wife recently got 2 crowns, 2 root canals, 2 crowns from a Japanese dentist, $500. That would be at least 2,000 plus in Canada, at least. So yeah, leaving your home country. Don't think it's easy. I don't want you guys to think it's easy. I think there's an emotional challenge there. I think you can come to Paraguay, and a lot of people, when they leave their country, they have like this rise and fall, this excitement, this enthusiasm, and then they have this sense of bit of like loneliness and difficulty. And I think that's the assimilation process, is like starting again is hard, but I'm used to starting again. I like starting again. I thrive under change. I like life to be challenging as long as the reward is there. So, you know, leaving your home country, it's not a piece of cake. There's a lot of aspects to it. Take your time, but don't take forever. Think it through, have a plan. A couple more things here to talk about, and then we're trying to wrap this stream up. If you got questions, throw it in the chat now. How is life in Serbia? Very, very good overall. I think the number one reason that I wouldn't stay there is I don't believe it would be possible to learn the language. I think it's very possible to learn the Spanish language, and I think that's very important. I don't want to feel like an outsider for the rest of my life. Moving to Paraguay, expectations and costs. I think I've covered a lot of this, but you're going to need like $1,500 to $2,000 approximately to pay for your residency process. Okay. You're going to need to look at the Airbnb. Hey, let's do that real quick. Let's look at that. I have this tab open right here. I forgot to show you guys that. So this is called infocasas.com.py. Let's see. Move the chat a little bit. How do I move the chat here? I'll just turn the chat off for a little bit. So let's just pick a couple apartments, and like I want to show you that I'm like not doing anything tricky or anything. I'm just gonna click search and see. Oh, that's to buy. I don't want to buy. I want to rent. Alquiler. Okay. So remember, 5,500 Guaranis is $1 Canadian. So 4.2 million, the first one we see, what would that pricing be? In Canadian dollars, that would be 763 Canadian dollars. Let's take a look at this one. It's about 1,000 square feet, 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom. Remember, it's $750. Like, it looks all right. You know, it doesn't look terrible. Like, $750, there's no such thing in Canada that's viable. There's no such thing. Not a bad little apartment. You can see, oh, it comes with a pool. You know, a lot of apartments have pools and fitness centers and shared spaces. Here's one that's $1,200 US a month. It's not bad. It looks like it's furnished. 2 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. Okay, look at this. 3 bedroom, 3 bathroom, 5.5 million. So that's going to be about 1,000 Canadian dollars a month, maybe about $750 US. Get a house, duplex with AC. Look at that. Can we enlarge that? Look at this. Look at this nice space. 1,000 Canadian dollars. You're barely getting a shitty old carpeted basement suite that's been smoked in Canada. Like, can you come here and enjoy life? Like, can you enjoy this? Could this work for you? Maybe, right? A lot of these places have nice closeting spaces. Look, you have your own backyard. You have your own patio. Let's check out a few more. Let's keep it reasonable. How about this one? 6 million. A lot of places come with this Santa Maria style grill. It raises up and down. So you have your own like little built-in barbecue and cooking area, because every family in Paraguay is barbecuing on Sundays. I got to get my barbecue going tomorrow. I'm going to cook up 4 steaks tomorrow. They cook a lot more. I mean, we're just a small family, but these guys, they will do a full-on meat party. Did I even say that Paraguay has the best beef in the world? Did I even say that? I totally overlooked that. The best beef in the world at an outstanding price. Okay, this one looks good. 6 million. What do you get here? You get 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,000 square feet. Look at that light. Look at that light for like 1,100 Canadian. You're not seeing light in Canada for 1,100, not even close. Fresh countertops, nice glass bathroom, clean looking paint, nice wardrobe, pool, fitness room, shared space. Look at that. That looks solid. Now that's what I was kind of going to, is like, you better prepare to bring 6 months worth of rent. That's what I did. I paid 6 months of rent all up front. So 30 million Guaranis. How much is that I have to pay? So I spent like 5,000 Canadian dollars for 6 months all at once. Other than that, like, what you can expect is to pay less for everything else. So you need some money for residency. You need some money if you want to rent a place. But other than that, like, everything here feels much, much cheaper. Let's see, last chance for questions. Did I consider any other countries before going to Paraguay? Well, yeah, I mean, I've been to a lot of countries. So, I mean, naturally, I think I did consider them. Like, I tried to go to Mexico. I was thinking about living there. Went to Eastern Europe. I loved Eastern Europe, but it's so far away. It feels so far. It feels very foreign. It's great, though. It's really cool. I like Eastern Europe. Never spent much time in Western Europe. Always thought it was very expensive. And I've lived in Hong Kong. So I know what like crazy Asia can be like super busy, super intense, expensive. You know, I visited a lot of Asian countries, and here's the thing, like, you can't get residency there. Like, it's not about picking your favorite country. It's first saying, where can I get residency easily? Because it's like, if you go to Mexico, but you have no income, they won't accept you. So you have a job, it doesn't help. You have to have like a business income or passive income or dividend investment income. And that's hard. Even if you have the income, like you're a freelancer like me, it's hard to prove it. It's hard to document it because you don't pay yourself a typical salary. You extract money from the business. You use the business to pay your expenses. So it can be quite difficult. So, you know, let's round out with talking a little bit about remote income, which technically I'm known for remote income. I'm known for the future-proof lifestyle. Remote income means you can earn the money from wherever you want. I talked about that I've been a digital nomad for much of my life. I've traveled a lot. I've enjoyed life. I believe in the 4-hour workweek ideology. I believe in mini retirements, traveling, earning abroad. So I was already really in the mindset of earning online. Now, I know so many people have not earned their first dollar online, but it is 2025. And at some point you have to say, like, I need to learn this. I need to get onto this. I need to figure this out, because technically a lot of jobs can be done online, whether it's a job or a business. Like, there's so many of these, we'll call them lifestyle businesses now, whether you're a YouTube creator, whether you're a TikTok creator, whether you're, you know, you create things, you sell them on Etsy. Like, there's so many different things that you can do. And let's not count OnlyFans. Okay, let's put that one to the side. We know, like, that most of the real digital nomads these days are probably OnlyFans, but let's put that one to the side. Probably not right for most of us here. But there's so many different things you can do, you know, and you have to look into that. And so I think people get scared, right? Like, they're like, oh, well, it's going to fail. What if I fail? I'm going to fail. Like, I'm going to fail. Like, it's the default belief that I can't do it. So let me kind of quickly summarize, like, my approach to that. You ever hear people being like, you got to start your personal brand. You got to build a brand. It's like, I don't really think like that. I think of it as a gold rush. I see that there's a lot of people who want to build a brand, a personal brand, an online business. There's a lot of people with money who want to do more online. They want to start a different business. I think the digital transformation of the world is the gold rush. And so the secret is not to go looking for gold. It is to sell the shovel. It is to be a part of the industry and provide a service to those people. And to me, that is digital marketing. And digital marketing is a very vast, vague term now. But when I think of digital marketing, I think of, okay, it's digital, so it's for the online elements, and it's marketing. And I think what people maybe don't realize is how big marketing is in 2025. Like, most business departments are shrinking, whereas marketing is expanding. And, you know, before, marketing wasn't as important because you relied on the foot traffic of your local business. They would say location, location, location is all that matters. And they were right. Are people walking by your store, and are they going to come in? But when you build an online store or an online channel or a content-based media company, there's no store and there's no one walking by. You have to do what we call driving traffic to your business. And that's really what the heart of marketers and digital marketers are doing. So for the last 10 years, I've been doing digital marketing. So, you know, 10 years ago, it was about writing blog posts that would get ranked in Google so that people would see your blog, go to your website, and then see what you have to offer. And then Facebook ads came out, and it was about running Facebook ads. And then YouTube became very popular, and it was about making YouTube videos. And I've been doing all of those things. So I am a trained lawyer. I went to law school. I graduated. I could have been a very successful lawyer, but I knew in my heart that I didn't want to do that. And so I didn't pursue it. I didn't pass the bar exam. I started a YouTube channel. I didn't get a law job. I started getting freelance marketing clients, even when I knew absolutely very little. And it was just like, this is the future. YouTube is the future. Facebook is the future. Google is the future. Like, I'm going to play for the future. I'm going to play the long game. That's what I did. And I was making videos for people. I was making their YouTube channels. I helped multiple people start YouTube channels. I helped multiple people write emails for their email list. I've made lots of websites, and I've just been doing that project after project after project. And I see that whether you're a local fitness trainer or a yoga company or a law firm or an app, or you sell services locally, or you sell products online, or you're an expert online, or you're a teacher online. Like, I've helped all of these types of people, and I think it's only growing. I think you want to position yourself for growth. You want to see that there's a bit of like a tidal wave, and you want to ride that wave for your career. People who still think it's a good idea to be an accountant or a lawyer or even a doctor, even an engineer, like, that's fine. But there's no tidal wave behind that. That ship, that wave already kind of came and went. And I don't really see it as a growth industry. And I think it's fair to say that most online things are in a growth phase. So I didn't really start a brand per se, although now you might say I have one. Before, I said, I'm going to help other people who want to start a brand. I'm going to be their right-hand man. I'm going to be their virtual assistant. I'm going to be the one that does the stuff that they don't want to do. And so for the last 5 to 10 years, it really comes down to 3 things that I've been doing. And we could call them skill sets. 3 skills. Content creation. What you're watching right now is a form of content creation. I've been making these videos. I've been sitting in front of the camera for 10 years. I've been sucking at it for a decade. I still suck. I don't think I'm good. And you have to learn to overcome that belief. You will always pretty much suck because we're in the world of independent media. We don't have any producers here. There's no lights here. There's no director helping me. There's no teleprompter. I'm making mistakes. I'm out of water. My throat is parched. Like, I'm surviving here, guys. Like, I'm hanging in there. But that's the thing is, like, even a guy can hang in there and survive in this world because this is a growth industry. You know, probably 1,000 people will watch this video. That's like a huge theater hall. You know, that's a lot of people. And I think what we forget is the size of the internet. And I think that every single day, more and more people do less things analog and more things digital. I think every single day, the world becomes more digital, right? Your letters became digital. Your movies became digital. Now your money's becoming digital. Your tools are digital. Your life is digital. So content creation is such a big part of that. And so for me, that's like making videos, writing text, making a picture, like a photo or a graphic. Those are all content creation. And I think it's very easy to learn now. I think never before has it been easier. Like back when I started, I used Photoshop and it was hard. It was very hard to use that tool. Now you have both Canva, AI, and all these other great tools. It's never been easier to make things. It's never been easier to make things. And I almost think it's too easy and there's too many choices that the average person feels like, where do I start? And that can be a challenge, I agree. So that's the first thing I've been doing is I've been helping people make content because other business owners, they don't have time. Content creation can be time consuming when done right, less so than it used to be. But most business owners, they don't want to fuss with it. Especially if they're like a baby boomer, they're like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that. And like lately on my Instagram, follow me at Rich+Niche. I've been posting a couple memes in my stories. It's like, you got to know meme culture. You got to know content culture. You have to be relevant. And even though I'm 41, I love staying in the game. I love memes. I love the meme that went viral yesterday with Miss Sweeney. Like, it was so interesting to watch the internet go crazy over this viral meme. And I put my own version out on my story. Go check it out. It's funny. Meme culture is amazing. It shows you the power of the internet. It shows you the power of people. And I think it's fascinating. So content is skill number one. The next thing I've done for people is make websites. And websites have evolved a lot in the last 20 years. I was making websites since 2000. I was putting videos on the internet before YouTube existed. I was making websites on a tool called Microsoft Front Page. You probably never heard of it. And then I was making websites on a tool called Macromedia Dreamweaver. You probably never heard of it. And then WordPress came out and really changed the world. And I made a lot of WordPress websites. Now I like to use Webflow. But made a lot of websites and made a lot of websites that did nothing. I tried for myself and a lot of projects didn't pan out, but a lot of people paid me to make their website. And you know, the most I probably ever charged was probably about $5,000, but I'll get to my model in a second, how I kind of do this, but websites and websites, you may have heard, they're also this thing called funnels. And a funnel is like when you have one page, someone does something, they buy something or they subscribe. And then on the very next page, there's like something else to buy. And then on the very next page, there's another thing to buy. That got pretty popular around 2015 to 2020. And I've been kind of learning about funnels and what I like to call the customer journey. And yeah, so landing pages, funnels, websites, that's all one skill. You don't even know how to code anymore. It's all no code. That's why it's so game changing. I don't know how to code, and yet I make websites, right? And the third skill that I've been doing for people is running ads. So Facebook ads and Google ads are the main thing. And Facebook ads is like the most powerful thing you can know. Like if you know how to set that up and it's not even that hard, like your life can change. You can change someone else's life. I recently helped a company use Facebook ads, and they closed a $1.2 million deal. So normally they do $50,000 and $100,000 projects. They make stuff out of metal. Someone hired them and gave them $1.2 million for a big project, and they got access to that customer through Facebook ads. So Facebook ads allows you to reach people. Anyone in your town can see your ad. So remember we talked about location, location, location. Well, now it's about traffic, traffic, traffic. And if you know how to use Facebook ads, you can send a lot of traffic to any website. And if you're selling things that are expensive, you can have a huge return on your advertising spend. And so there's these 3 services that I really like to do: create content, advertise with content, and have a website where you sell stuff, whether it's e-commerce, services, high ticket programs, medical services, downloading an app. And those 3 things have helped me have a really good lifestyle. I work from home or from any coffee shop. I use a laptop, and I just do those 3 things. And so recently I discovered that I can offer those 3 things to my clients as a bundle, because I think almost every client needs all of those. Now, I don't work for Google. I don't work for Tesla. I don't work for Fortune 5000. I work for online businesses and small businesses where there's less money, there's less investment. They need someone like me to wear 3 hats. And that's the differentiating factor. So it's not for me about being a specialist. It's about covering those 3 areas for my clients. And so instead of them having to hire 3 people, they get to hire 1. And that's why I can charge a little bit more than the average person, because even if you pay me $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, and I work on a monthly basis, and I'll get to that in a second, even if you pay me that much, that would be cheaper than having 3 people, and even way cheaper if those people had to work inside the office. So I work remotely, and I tell my clients I only work remotely. And so there's kind of levels to it. You can be very basically skilled, do basic content, basic websites, basic ads, and I would call that a virtual assistant or an executive virtual assistant. And when you get really good and you become a bit more strategic, you take on a bit more leadership, you become what I call a fractional CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. So I've done both. And if you're an executive virtual assistant, you could easily make $1,000 a month. You could definitely make $2,000 a month, and you can make $3,000 a month if you're getting good. Once you become a fractional CMO and you play a more of a strategic role in a company, you can expect 6 figures. And fractional means part-time, because a really good CMO would cost $250,000 a year plus. So if I come in as your fractional CMO, you're not going to mind paying me $90,000 a year for 1 client. And if I'm fractional, that means I can do 2 or 3 or 4 different clients. I'm not full-time, and I don't owe you my full-time. So there's something very powerful about having clients versus having a job. And I've really benefited from that. Having a job is so restricting. Whether you have to go to the office, whether you have to put in a certain amount of time, whether you have to ask for a vacation. For clients, I don't have any of that. When you have a job, it can be so hard to have a side hustle because you're tired, right? If you're making 60 to 80K a year in a full-time job, like that literally might be the cap. You will not be able to earn more money than that. And that would suck. That would be hard to accept when you watch the cost of living rise up. But when you have clients, nothing ever stops you from having 1 more client. And let's say you get paid a moderate $2,000 a month for that client. Like, how does $24,000 a year extra sound to you right now? What could you do with an extra $24,000 right now? But it comes back to, it's all about remote income. It's not even about earning six figures. Because I'll tell you right now, it's better to earn $50,000 remotely than it is to earn $125,000 and have to commute to the office and have coworkers and a boss. Remote income is worth 2 to 5 times as much in terms of freedom, happiness, flexibility. Because, right, if I have $50,000 a year, I can move to Paraguay. If I make $125,000 in Vancouver, I'm not going anywhere. I am locked in. So I better love the nature. I better love the nightlife. I better love everything about it. And so when we have jobs, sometimes we convince ourselves that we really love our life because we have no choice. But when you have a remote income and the flexibility to move around and choose the country that treats you best, as Andrew Henderson from The Nomad Capitalist says, the country that treats you best, when you have that choice, you're going to start to see the bad sides. You're going to be like, wow, is this really what I want? Is this what's right for me? Am I just accepting it because I was born here, went to school here, got a job here, calling it a life? Maybe I'm fortunate, and I'm a very gratitude-based person. I am constantly enforcing gratitude in my home. To me, it's the most important thing, is that every day we have gratitude. I feel lucky, but I worked hard in one focused direction to achieve what I'm grateful for. Nobody rooted for me to be a freelancer. Nobody told me that was a good idea. Nobody opened a pathway for me. Every year, reminding myself why I would want to do that. Why am I choosing this? Why am I giving up my legal lawyer education for this? Why am I sacrificing for this? Why am I still driving the 2015 Toyota Corolla? Why am I not buying any fancy clothes or a watch? Because when you go independent, you need to invest in yourself and your business and your growth, your personal process, your development, your knowledge, your skills. You have to keep doing that until you break out, until you're like, oh, 6 figures, that's not even a big deal to me. I'm trying to think about 7 figures now. And when's the last time an average person ever thought about 7 figures earning? They don't. And even for me, I don't really think about that. Now I think about, 500, 600,000 is a very good goal for me to set. And when you're thinking like that, you start to say to yourself, well, what's the point of getting 500,000 if the government's going to take 40 to 50% of that? What's the ambition? And so you're thinking, well, maybe I better solve my tax situation before I go all in and really grow my business. It becomes a new game of life to think through these issues. But when you're making 85K, you commute every day, you eat junk food, you go to McDonald's on the way home, you come home at 7 o'clock, Netflix, video games, bedtime, start again tomorrow. Like, you don't even think about any of that. There's no room for that. And so why I'm fortunate is I never got deep into that. I went to school, became legally trained, and immediately said, no, I'm going into the online world to earn remote income. And all I think about is remote income. I only want to do things that are remote income. You have to say no to non-remote income because it holds you down. It's like a chain. And as soon as you break free, even if you're not making a lot, even you're making 40K, you feel good. No one's telling you what to do. You don't have to wake up or go to bed at any particular time. You don't have to hang around any coworkers that are toxic or you don't like them. You don't let your corporation or business tell you what to do with your life or your body or your belief systems. So remote income is valuable. And I don't think that's a common understanding in our current cultural landscape. And I don't blame people. If you've got bills to pay, if you've got kids, if you've got things that you're responsible for, you can't. You can't be that selfish. I started with a girlfriend. Yes, I wasn't married at the time. Or maybe I was kind of married, pretty close, engaged or something. But I didn't have all these things that I was necessarily responsible for. I mean, I suffered having my student debt for a long time. That was very painful and a long process. But I felt like I could go to Bali, I could go to Thailand, I could go to these places, I could go to Mexico. And it's like, you know what? I'll figure it out. I have remote income coming into my PayPal, into my Stripe account. I'll figure it out. I have 3 to 5 clients. I'll figure it out. And so I'm not the type of person who waits. I'm not the type of person who wants it to be perfect before I go. I want to go before it's too late. I want to take action, and I want to fly the plane and figure out how to land it while I'm up there. That's just my nature. And so there's a benefit to that. There's both pros and cons to that. There's a benefit for taking action. There's a benefit for moving fast. There's a benefit for relentlessness. There's a benefit for being high agency, as I love to say. Like, if you go to jail, who would you want to break you out of prison? If you had to rely on somebody to break you out of prison, Michael Schofield, I am that person. I am Michael Schofield. I am the person who would solve the most difficult problems in a small amount of time. That's my nature. I don't care. I will break a rule if I need to. I will help you escape prison if I believe that that's the right thing to do. So I'm this high agency person. And so I'm a problem solver. And so I don't really care if I get into some problems. I will solve it. But on the flip side, I do not accept, the guards telling me what to do. I do not accept, dropping the soap in the shower, so to speak. I won't take it. Like, I refuse to be kind of put on a leash in any sense, shape, or form. So you have to understand who I am and why I do these things. It may not be for everybody. But over the years, I was getting better and better at my craft. And in 2020, I started helping other people solve this problem for themselves. I said, hey, if you want me to show you what I do, what I know, I welcome those people into my life. And I started what's called the Rich+Niche Academy. And that's the name of this channel. That's the name of my business, richandniche.com. And for almost 6 years, I've been pretty dedicated in showing up on a weekly basis and helping people. And over the years, 500 to 1,000 people have crossed paths with me and said, thanks for showing me this. Some people more than others. Some people became my true fans and they want to see me every day. Some people came in, took what they needed, and they left. I don't care. But we started a business that was about freedom. It was a future-proof ideology. It's like, how do we build a career for the future? And before you ask me about AI, maybe I'll talk about that. If there's anyone who's AI-proof, it is us. And that's because we take a generalist approach. We don't just do websites. We don't just do video editing. We don't just do copywriting. We do them all. And so people don't pay us because we're specialists. People pay us because we're responsible for a lot. And so we're allowed to use AI. We get to be benefited by AI. The more AI we use, the better. We're not getting replaced. The specialists are getting replaced. The generalist is thriving. And you might have to go do some research and thinking to understand why that is. So Rich+Niche it started out as basically an online course. It was like, here's some videos, here's what I do, here's how you can do it. But over the years, it's evolved. We became a community. So we have a very strong professional gated community. It's not free, so it's a very high quality level of individual. So when you become a member, you get to join all these other people who are doing what I do, essentially becoming a freelance marketer. And we came up with this idea that we are a one-person marketing agency. By doing this generalist approach, that's our unique angle. And I wrote a book called The One-Person Marketing Agency. I hope I linked it below, but I believe you could go to richandniche.com/free-book. It's also probably on our website. And so you could read about my story, how I came up, what I did. I have a process that you can follow. And nowadays, I try to do a bit more of intensive training because there's so many people who tell me, oh, I want to leave Canada, but I don't have a remote income. I say, well, if you let me train you for 3 months, I think you'll be on your way. And so I spend a lot of time privately in small groups training people. I'm going to be having more workshops coming up where I teach sort of individual elements that you can add into your skill set. And now that I'm settled here in Paraguay, I think that I'll be doing more content. I'll be doing more live streams, more videos, more helpful things, because that's really my mission now. Is I typically say, like, my mission is to give everyone good work. See, when I was facing becoming a lawyer, I didn't think it was good work. I thought it was slavery. I thought it was terrible. I thought it's like, this is not fun. I don't enjoy this. So what if I get paid a lot? I don't enjoy this. It's very competitive. You know, law firms have like this partner structure, and to rank up and get paid what you're worth, you have to kind of become a partner. But you're not going to become a partner unless you kill yourself and work 60, 70 hours a week and prove to people like you're the hardest worker who bills the most hours. I didn't really want to do that. And I think that the freedom and the power of remote income defines, to me, good work. And I think what's cool about being a freelance marketer or a one-person marketing agency is it's so dynamic. You're always working with new people. You're always working on new projects. It's never the same thing over and over. It's not calling people, selling them the same thing over and over. It's not building the same thing over and over like a factory or a conveyor belt. It's dynamic. And if you can't see the value of remote income, then you probably wouldn't be interested in this. You probably think, oh, I want to have my master's and I'm going to work for a big company, and you know, I want to make $200,000 a year and I'm going to have a nice Mercedes and like whatever. That's not this. This is about how do I earn $3,000 to $5,000 in the next 2 years remotely, and then have a vision to getting to $10,000 a month and then beyond. And for some people, they don't need to. Maybe you have a partner who has an online business already and you haven't found your way. Like, I kind of alluded to this before, but there's so many businesses you can try that will fail. Like, especially around e-commerce and drop shipping, especially around like don't become a live streamer. Don't like if you follow some of these huge live streamers, like the ones that come to my head right now are like Aiden Ross, this Kai Cenat guy, Speed. Like, I see these guys as clips. You'll never become that. I don't even necessarily believe that that's all fully organic. I don't trust YouTube. I don't trust Twitch. I don't believe that the best people on top did it purely organically. I don't trust Mr. Beast. I'm a non-trusting person when it comes to anything mainstream. I just can't. I don't default to being naive. I default to like critical questions. Like, is that right? So bottom line is, sometimes people see this stuff and like, that's what I want to do. I want to make a living playing video games. I want to make a living doing this. It's like, well, you have a 90% failure rate. It's not easy. I love Gary Vee. I've been listening to more Gary Vee lately, for those of you guys like Gary Vaynerchuk. And he'll be like, smurf it up, make content on whatever you love. If you love doing puzzles and drinking a beer, that's what he said on the video recently. Like, do that. It's like, you're putting a lot of hope to people. And then he'll be like, oh, the person will be like, yeah, I can't get any traction. He'll be like, patience, motherfucker. Like, you're not waiting long enough. It's like, yeah, that's true. But how many people like just don't have a good idea? How many people can't pick a good product to sell? How many people will pick a product and then Amazon will steal it from you, or somebody else on the internet will steal your idea? How many? And that's not my approach. I didn't want to fail. I don't like failing. So I felt that becoming a freelance service provider was much more fail-proof. And we can charge more because we offer more services and we save you a lot of time. If you're a business owner and you struggle to make social media content, your website's out of date, you definitely don't know how to run ads properly, and then someone can come into your life and do those things for you, and you can start making more money because your website's up to date, your social media is doing well, and you're running ads, you're going to make more money at whatever you were doing before. So we come into pre-validated businesses and we just make it better. And someone's like, you're only charging me $3,000 a month for that? Like, I'm making $250,000 a month from that. And so people don't really realize, they know of Tesla, they know of Nvidia, they know of Microsoft, the trillion-dollar businesses. And then they know like Sally's little, fitness training, and, Martha's little cookie shop barely making six figures. They ignore the $2 to $10 million businesses. They just don't know of them. Manufacturing, industrial, like these companies need to market as well. And you don't always have to market to the public. Sometimes you have to market internally. Sometimes you have to market for talent and getting people to get employed by the company. Like, marketing can be very dynamic and differentiated. It's not always like trying to make viral videos. So remote income is really the golden thread of my life at this point. And so if you're new to my channel, I would spend some time on this YouTube channel and see a little bit more about what I've been talking about, what I've been doing, and take a look at our website, see what we're doing. If you've never made $1 online, you need to think really hard right now. Like, are you really prepared for the future? Are you protecting yourself and your livelihood? Is AI a threat to your life and your work? Do you think that your business will lay you off one day because you don't have, value anymore? Like, did you guys see every major company is doing layoffs? Every major company is doing layoffs. It's not looking good. Jobs are harder than ever to get. Like 7 interviews. Give me a break. So I worry about people who don't understand the time that we're living through. You could call it a singularity. It's when technology is improving so quickly that it's exponentially growing in power. And that's happening right now. I was talking about that 10 years ago before it was happening. That I say, hey, it's coming. We're entering it. And the singularity is a volatile time. It's challenging. Things are changing too quickly for the human to really grasp. So a lot of times we just end up like doom scrolling and not thinking about the reality that we live in because it's very difficult to understand. And if you don't want to call it the singularity, that's fine. You could say, well, we're about to find and discover what's called AGI. What does that stand for? Something general intelligence, artificial general intelligence, of course, AGI. And so that's like the super level of AI that's like, it's already smarter than humans. It's going to be smarter than the collection of all of us. Intelligence, let's put it this way. The world will be 10% human intelligence, 90% artificial intelligence and computer-based intelligence. What does that world look like? Who is safe? Is anyone safe? Well, it's not right to be certain. Nobody can say, I know for sure. But The reason I believe in what we do as freelance marketers, as one-person marketing agencies, is again that imagine you're a buffet versus a sushi restaurant. If the world can no longer produce rice, and that's a metaphor for if AI takes over for this element, can your sushi restaurant survive? Can a sushi restaurant survive without rice or without fish or soy sauce? Those are critical ingredients. Can the restaurant survive? I'm not so sure. But if you're a buffet, the generalist, the multi-skilled marketer or freelancer, if you're a buffet and suddenly there's no more lettuce, there's no more sausage, there's no more ice cream, nobody's going to care. They're going to keep going to the buffet and say, well, what else do you have? It's like, yeah, we don't have ice cream anymore, but now we have cake, and now we have fruit, and now we have this, and we just replaced it. And so our model that we're using in our community, and I think it's only our community at Rich+Niche. I don't see this anywhere in the world. We're unique. We're this unique marketing generalist who works independently and takes 3 to 5 clients and works remotely. And we have multiple skills, the 3 core skills I talked about, and all of those skills can be appreciated and elevated with AI. So I like to write my copy by hand still, but I will ask ChatGPT to give me some ideas and help. I like to make my graphics by hand still, but I will get some designs, mock-ups, and ideas from ChatGPT. I still like to edit my videos by hand and make them awesome, but do I use AI to speed up certain processes? Absolutely. And so I feel that at least for the next 2 decades, we are in a good place to hang in there. And that's why I think that it's important that you think 10, 20 years out and say, is my country the right place for me now and in the future? Because if it's not right, maybe I should make a change. But I can't make a change if I can't earn money from the new place I go, because maybe I wasn't clear. You can't come to Paraguay and get a job. You don't speak Spanish, first of all, and you're not going to get paid enough. The average person in Paraguay is probably making $500 a month. The people at the banks, they're probably making $1,000 a month. You don't want to do that. You want to bring your income to Paraguay. You want to be able to make money outside of the country so that it can be tax-free. And so you need to start making some calculations. If I earn $7,000 in Canada after taxes, after rent, would I be better off earning $2,400 in Paraguay with no tax and a much lower rent? Like, what would actually be better for us? I think that's where I'm at, and that's what I've done, and that's drove my decision making. So I've gone now for 2 hours and 15 minutes. I think that's really reasonable, and I think I've done a good job to cover most topics. I'll quickly look at the chat and see if there's any more questions, but it sounds like most people are just kind of listening in. Yeah, I don't see a lot of questions. So sounds like you guys were satisfied today. Hello out there to all of my community members. Sandra, nice to see you. Milos, hope you're still here. Not sure who else is out there. And thanks for watching the videos I've been making. Thanks for subscribing to the channel, everyone. We had over 2,000 new subscribers last month, and that's awesome. It shows that what I'm sharing and the lifestyle I'm trying to create is interesting enough for people to care about. Not just one video, but maybe the next one and maybe the next one. And so if you think I can help you, if you think there's something that I have that you need, you can email me at rich, R-I-C-H, at richandniche.com. It should be linked below. There should be something below. You can easily connect with me. You can go to my Instagram at richandniche, and you can DM me there. I'm pretty responsive. And I'm going to start wrapping this up in the next few minutes. So I hope you enjoyed this live stream. I really enjoyed it. I want to come back. I'd love to have a more regular frequency with the live streams. I'd love to teach a little bit more, give a lot of free info away, train for free. And, you know, look, AI is here. It's never been easy to learn things through AI. And when people come to Rich+Niche, they don't come because they can't figure one little thing out. The real reason people come to Rich+Niche is twofold. Accountability. It's hard to do things by yourself and start by yourself and stick to it. You get a lot of bumps, up and downs. So we help you create a level of accountability. 2, community. Like-minded individuals. If you want to meet 100 more people who think like me, if you want to surround yourself with people like me, just go get a membership to our community. It will definitely pay itself off. We have a membership. It's $100 a month. I know that's not cheap, but not only do you get access to our private community, you get access to a weekly call with me on Mondays where you can ask me anything you want, and you get access to all of our courses, like 15 online courses. You could go learn everything I'm talking about for a paltry $100 a month that you can cancel anytime. Now, if you want to work with me privately, if you want me to provide that level of accountability and coaching, well, obviously that takes a lot of my time, and that's going to be something more expensive, and it's going to involve other people in our business. We have other coaches, other people who will help you out, but I think it's really fantastic that we can provide an education that is more valuable than university and a community that is more powerful than your friend group to help you move forward in your life for $100 a month. And people might say, oh, that's really expensive. I don't think it is. I think what we provide is worth a lot more, and it could be 3 times as expensive. And hey, you can debate me on that. It's up to you. But we have a lot of happy members. And so I'm just going to play you a little video before I leave of some of our happy members, just because I don't want to be just talking shit. I want you guys to know that a lot of people have said good things about me, our business, and their experience. So once this video is over, the stream's going to end. Hope you enjoy this live stream. See you guys next time. Subscribe. Don't forget to hit that like button. Let the algorithm push this one a little bit further. And if you have more questions for me, email me.
Before Rich+Niche, I was working at a dead-end job as a server. Honestly, I didn't have a lot of direction in my life, and since joining, I was able to completely turn that around. I don't have to answer to anyone, I can create my own schedule, and I can essentially do whatever I want.
I was able to generate around $12,000 with 2 big clients per month. I managed my own schedule. I was able to travel, work remotely.
I used to be a struggling digital marketer who had just transitioned from a career in oil and gas. I was lost up until I joined the Rich+Niche community, and 1 year after, I think that was the best decision I made in 2023.
I've been able to start my own business, grow it to over $6,000 a month, making consistent income, and being able to work and travel remotely. That's why I'm currently here in Colombia right now, as you can see in the background.
In the first month, I landed my first $1,000 a month client. And then before it actually ended, 3 months in, I landed my second one. And so I had 2 $1,000 retainer clients before the end of the lab.
Just 6 months ago, I was an active duty member of the United States military with no experience in digital marketing whatsoever. And just last week, I secured my first client through digital marketing. None of this would have been possible without the help of Rich+Niche.
I enrolled with the Rich+Niche Academy. The value I got was beyond my wildest expectations.
Rich+Niche helped me close my first clients in just 3 weeks after joining the program. I have spent so much money on other courses, but joining Rich+Niche was one of the best investments I made.
My confidence and my abilities in digital marketing have skyrocketed. I've since signed up my first client, and I can't be thankful for Rich and the community enough for giving me the confidence to be able to go on and sign that client.
The Rich+Niche Academy allowed me to build my confidence in the digital marketing landscape. I've been able to launch a business, I have clients, and things are going really well.
From the second that I joined Rich+Niche, everything was so professional, so well put